So most of you know me already. Like Julie said, Veena. And thank you again, sorry for everyone for taking the time to be here. So I would have to admit before I get started that um, being an international student coming to the US, I didn't know Georgia O'Keeffe. When I came to New Mexico in 2007, didn't know her either. So a friend of mine, we went to graduate school together. She's also from my home country, Mauritius. She came to visit me during my first semester in Portales, New Mexico. And she said, hey, we need to go visit the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum. I was like, well, let's do that. So that was really my first introduction to Georgia O'Keeffe, and I was really impressed by her art, the just range of different things that she does, the flowers, the landscape, even New York, just the how flexible and versatile she was. So my second experience was in 2008 when a couple of friends, we went to the Plaza Blanca. And again, this was one of the places where she got her inspiration. So that was another intro. And then met my husband, and he took a class in art history, got introduced to Georgia O'Keeffe, and it was kind of between the two of us, kind of a love for her work. And I would have to say thank you to the foundation at Highlands. Over the 4 years that I've been here, through various events, we started collecting some of her art prints, of course. So the one on the left is the abstract white rose. The one in the middle is the red canna. And that's actually a flower that's very common in the country that I come from. And then the third one, of course, I will forget the name right now, but that's also one of her famous ones. So for those of you who don't know, well, Georgia O'Keeffe was very successful in New York, and she traveled to Texas from Texas to vacation in Colorado. That's when she discovered New Mexico, and you would have to all agree, if you came to New Mexico, you're not born and raised in New Mexico, there's something about New Mexico. She said she couldn't quite put her finger on what drew her to the land. Everybody can relate to that. The sky, the stars, the wind, everything was different. And that kind of pulled her to New Mexico, like every one of us. So in 1930s, she began roaming the areas of south of Taos, such as Hispaniola. Sorry, let me move this because I can't see the whole screen. So Hispaniola, Santa Fe, and just looking for a place to set her roots. A lot of her work throughout the 1940s were focused on the landscape of New Mexico, the red and yellow hills, the white cliffs, the pale greens of the cedar trees, the desert bones, and I'll talk about that a little bit, the bones, when I talk about the museum right now. So in 1949, she made New Mexico her permanent home. She had two different homes in northern New Mexico. So O'Keeffe Country is considered northern New Mexico, anywhere from Santa Fe north to Abiquiu, through Gross Ranch and up to Taos. So it was very common for her to roam around those areas. So she purchased Gross Ranch in 1940. This is 12 miles from Abiquiu, but this place wasn't suitable for her to live year round. One of the things that she really wanted to do was garden. So this land also wasn't good for her to have a garden. So she purchased Abiquiu home in 1945, and at that time it was just in ruins. And the picture on the right here or your left is the door. There's a famous painting with this door, and she described it as as I climbed and walked about in the ruin, I found a patio with a pretty well housed, something is missing there, and bucket to draw up water. It was a good sized patio with a long wall with a door on one side. That wall with a door in it was something I had to have. And recently, about a month ago, I did get to visit her house, this place, and it felt like it was a portal or something. Like there's something really about that door. So it took her 4 years to restore this house, and it became her permanent home. And the interesting thing, and I can't remember her name right now, but she hired a woman to oversee the renovation, which back in those days was even kind of controversial. But this woman did see through where this house was renovated, and it became her permanent home. And this is a picture from the house, from her studio, actually, looking, I guess where the green is where the Rio Grande would run. So it is a larger home, well irrigated garden, and it also offered her the comfort that was needed in winter. So she lived there until 1984, and this is a place where you can still go visit today. So closer to home, this is a really small picture. I hope you can see it, but she used to get her horses from Sapeo, New Mexico. And if anybody knows, this is in between when you're driving from Las Vegas going towards Mora on 518. It's the middle point where you have the gas station. So she used to get her horses there. So that's how close she came to our area. So Georgia O'Keeffe died in Santa Fe on March 6th of 1986 at the age of 98. The Georgia O'Keeffe Museum was created in 1997, and it has the museum gallery in Santa Fe, the research center, which is also in Santa Fe, a welcome center in Albuquerque, and also the home and studio, and then the Ghost Ranch home, which unfortunately is not available to public for visiting. And the reason is there is a lot of restoration work that needs to happen to bring it to the point where people can go through, I'm not a science major, but, even like walking through like stuff that's coming off your body or if your shoes could affect the structure of the building. So that's why they're safeguarding it. So just to give you some idea in terms of the numbers. So the gallery in Santa Fe, it sees about 150,000 visitors. They recommend reservation in advance, but you can go there and visit, and they have certain days where it's free for New Mexico residents to go visit. The home and studio, this is in Albuquerque. They have about 26,000 visitors, and this was up to July of this year. They do First Friday events where they have a resident artist that comes on and they will do some kind of art project. That brings about 1,400 participants. So most popular people, the tourists that are coming up from California, Colorado, New York, Arizona, and Texas, but she's well known, and there are people from all over coming to visit. And in terms of numbers, in terms of what is this bringing to New Mexico in terms of tourism, that's huge. And right now, if you do go on their website, they will tell you this is like peak time for them with Balloon Fiesta. There are many people who then hop to Santa Fe to go visit the museum. In terms of collections, so over the years, either the museum has been, work has been donated to the museum, or they have acquired the work of art that she had. So you can see right here, and I was talking about the bones. So Georgia O'Keeffe was prominent, like she would go out on these hikes where she would pick up random bones. And right now in the museum, they have a collection of a lot of bones that they're still going through and trying to figure out, well, is this worth saving? What is this really? So, there's a lot of just little things here and there, pictures and stuff that they're still trying to figure out what to do with. And I didn't address this in this presentation, but right now, the museum is there, but then the building right next to the research center has been torn down, and they're bringing in a bigger facility, which will help them with basically keeping all these collections safe. Being on the board, hearing about, how difficult it is to get a piece of art from somewhere to the museum, because you have to be careful about, again, should I paid attention in my physics or chemistry class, just the friction from, or the vibration from transportation could affect the paint and such. They talked about how a little kid at the museum actually touched one of the paintings, and that took a lot of time to restore. So, on the side of Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, which I didn't know, they also have kind of a R&D where they are right now in the process of marketing, or getting to the point where they will market a new way to carry, right now art, so that it doesn't, it's some kind of suspension in a big box that will help in carrying art, so that it doesn't get affected in the process. In terms of learning and engagement, they do school tours. So usually if a high school teacher or, they reach out and say, we want you to come to talk to our students, they would do that, have, again, little arts. So the main goal here is to make sure that we have people who are still interested in art. So they will do art projects together. They do school visits. The family days are great. And then they have programs at the Santa Fe Public Library. And I know Kelly's on the call right now. I know they have a really good partnership with Santa Fe Community College. So whenever I was approached to be on the board, one of the my main goal was, because she was she's so well known, and she has such an impact on northern New Mexico, that it shouldn't just be in Santa Fe. We should see her, these programs being spread out across the state. And even, whenever they have these internships, you'll find out that the interns are typically from anywhere else but New Mexico. So trying to get more participation, and that was the main goal for me joining, is trying to bring that education piece, one, and two, also to get her more accessible to people beyond Santa Fe. So that's something that I'll be working on in the next few years. So this is another thing they just started. It's called Art to Go, kind of a play on words for Georgia O'Keeffe. So that's where this little blue truck just travels around, and they will basically, again, have a artist in residence, and they will go through, do certain projects right there, show the public. They have art and leadership exhibitions. They have studio classes online, which anybody can sign up for. Online mornings with O'Keeffe programs. Like recently, I saw one, because it's fall. They did one in the research center outside, where you painted, leaves and such to represent the fall. This is one of her famous saying, which resonates with me. She was just kind of a go-getter, like in her area, how versatile she was, and it's just been a privilege to be on the board and be able to know more about her. I know I speak really quickly, so that's it for me. Any questions for me?
I'm not seeing anything in